Welcome back to episode 54 of the ATD Baseball Podcast. The oven is still cold. It's not
Ice
warm yet.
cold.
We're getting there, but man, is it moving slow. We got a full house today to discuss. I know the lead in was like, wow, then nothing must have happened. Then I'm leaving. We got some stuff to talk about.
Hang in there.
So, yeah, we'll get to that. We got some signings, but full house today. Myself, Matt, and Kyle. Gentlemen, how are we doing today?
We're cold. We're cold out here in the Northeast, Kyle and I. We don't get that luxury of nice 70 degrees out there, Melo.
It's pretty nice.
Kyle, how you doing today?
Not too bad, man. Not too bad. Matt, you kind of hit it there. This weather sucks, man. And Mello, I'm really envious of you right now. Kind of wish I had some of that weather out here, but other than that, not too bad.
It's gonna get worse. I know it's not gonna be
Thanks.
as bad as you guys,
Thanks, Melo.
but it will get worse out here. It's gonna start raining soon. It will get colder. The Santa Ana winds will come in. It's gonna get maybe around 50.
Oh, cry me a river. 50 degrees, Melo.
Oh, that's freezing out here. Oh, that's freezing. That's stay in your house and do nothing all day.
Man, we wouldn't be doing anything half the year, Kyle.
Yeah, seriously.
Hey man, we're spoiled out here. I'm not ashamed to admit it.
That's right. But baseball side of things, we're warming up a little bit at least. Got some signings, a trade, interesting trade, but a couple signings. We want to start off with the signings. Start with Sonny Gray. I mean, it's the biggest move pretty much so far that we haven't covered. I mean, Aaron Nola, I'd still say is the biggest move so far, but Sonny Gray's up there as well. I mean, seeing as he just finished second in the AL Cy Young voting just this year, great arm to have in your rotation. And my biggest takeaway, Cardinals kept their promise. They said they were going to go out and get 3 pitchers. As of right now, they added 3 pitchers. Whether they're done adding after just Lance Lynn, Sonny Gray, and obviously the other guy that I'm blanking on his name right now. Yes. Sonny Gray came in on a 3-year, $75 million deal. $25 million a year there. Braves, what were you doing? You sort of lost out on Sonny Gray here. But, I mean, hey, good for the Cardinals. They're improving what they need to. They were aggressive. They went out, and they're getting their arms right away.
Yeah, and after the bad season that they had in 2023, you want to see some improvements. And are they the sexiest guys on the market? No. But you want to see them do something because last year was not the Cardinal way. And it's still early in the offseason. They can still make trades, or who knows, maybe they'll just sign more starting pitchers and completely overhaul the rotation next year. But if you're a Cardinals fan, it's like, all right, like at least we're trying. And there's teams out there that are scared to try because they don't want to mess what they have up, or the owner's just too cheap to spend any money. So good for the Cardinals. At least they're doing something and trying to improve.
Yeah, I mean, I think you guys hit it there. I mean, I think Sonny Gray was their guy from the beginning. I think it was mutual interest for sure. I mean, obviously the Cardinals went out and got him, and Sonny Gray had mentioned that he wanted to be in St. Louis. That's the place he wanted to be, and I think that speaks volumes. I really do because, like, yeah, you can go out and sign any guy you want, hypothetically, but at the same time, you want a guy who wants to pitch there. And with a guy like Sonny Gray, whose track record is a little iffy. I mean, he's definitely picked it up in the last few seasons, but him wanting to be a Cardinal, I think that just speaks volumes. And I think we're going to see that next year. I think he's going to continue his dominance on the mound, and he's going to turn that rotation around for them. I want to see them do more though. I like what they've added, but I don't think it's enough. That rotation was bottom 6 in the league last season. So yeah, I mean, I like what you've done so far, but just keep it going a little bit. Me personally, go out and get a glass now. I think that would set that rotation up for a hell of a run in 2024.
Yeah.
Maybe add a bat or two, and I think you're set.
If you feel like you reached your amount that you want to spend in the offseason, go trade some people. We've talked about it before, how they had outfield wealth and they have a lot of depth in their organization in the outfield position. So go out and acquire a Glass now. Get a Shane Bieber. Get some of these guys that are possibly available for trade. Call up either of those teams. I mean, they're both American League teams. They should have no issue dealing with the Cardinals. It was a nice building step, and especially when you look at a team, a lot of the probably bottom 5 teams, because that's what the Cardinals were. As weird as that sounds to say, the Cardinals were a bottom 5 team in baseball last year. And do you see a lot of those other teams going out there and signing a big name free agent? No, you don't. So that should tell you something about how much they believe in their team to bounce back this year and not be as bad as they were, because it's hard to be that bad with Nolan Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt on your team. It is hard to be that bad with those two guys on your team. So I think it's sort of, we've said before, they can't be worse than last year. And I don't really think they will be. I think they're going to be a lot better than they were just last season. And this is steps in the right direction. People made fun of the earlier signings, saying these guys kind of suck. They had like a 5 ERA last year. They would have made the team worse. It's like, yeah, they back of the rotation guys with Gibson and Lynn, but now you got your ace. He's your guy, Sonny Gray, and you went out and you spent the money on him. Like Kyle said, though, don't be done. Go add a couple more pieces.
Well, yeah, and honestly, and to go after, I mean, to keep going on this, the NL Central is wide open, wide open. We all know about Milwaukee. They're probably going to sell off a few of their pieces, and they're rebuilding. I mean, look, news dropped today that they're in contract talks with one of their top prospects. That's kind of telling me that they're looking forward to the future. They're not going to be in contention as much as they were last year. So yeah, this division's wide open, and the Cardinals need to take advantage of it. Yes, I feel as of now, I feel like you have a decent amount to work on. But as we just said, keep going. Just add a few bats, add another pitcher. Definitely add another pitcher. I think that's still top of the priority list. I think you got to keep going. But yeah, I mean, I'm giving props to the Cardinals here. I think they've had a hell of an offseason so far, and I think you just got to keep going.
And now, with all the old guys out of the room, Wainwright gone, Molina gone, Pujols gone. Maybe we can actually now see this team take a step forward or get back to where they were, because the last couple years, by no fault of their own, those guys are legends and they deserve the farewell and everything. But I'm sure it was like, all right, like, can we kind of let's move on a little here. Like, this is great, but we kind of want to start winning some games. And now everybody's out, and we can now see them take that next step. And look, they've already improved their starting pitching, depending on who you ask.
Yeah, seems like the best first step, and they've even been linked to another guy we want to talk about, Yoshinobu. I think I said that right. Maybe not. Maybe not. Yamamoto, posted from Japan, along with a couple other players here. Shota Imanaga. I
Oh,
think I got that right. That's right. Maybe. Guy that the Kyle's team is saving their number for there in Yamamoto, right?
I knew this was going to get brought up. I mean, yeah, I guess.
That's a Yankee thing to do, isn't it?
I don't think so. I've never heard of a team I like. Listen, I've never heard of a team save a number for an upcoming free agent, especially one that is a year out from being posted. Like, yes, I understand the Yankees have done their due diligence on this guy. Yamamoto has been at the top of their priority list evidently for the last 2 years now. We've all seen the picture of Cashman in the stands and all that. So maybe, I don't know. But saving a number for 2 years, I mean, Rougned Odor had that number for the Yankees just literally 2 years ago. I don't know how much truth there is to it, but maybe it's just a thing being brought out by the Yankees. I don't know. But hey, we'll see.
Wasn't that Tanaka's number too?
He was 19.
Okay, so I was one off. So
He
the
he
idea was
wanted
there though.
he wanted the number, and it's funny that you brought this up. He wanted the number 18, but he did not choose to wear it because of out of respect for Kuroda.
Oh,
He was,
Kuroki Kuroda.
there you go. He was also a pitcher for the Yankees, number 18. But evidently, this number is traditionally used for the ace. That is what the Japanese culture looks at it as, which I think is cool. And I hope that the Yankees are actually like, hey, listen, you can have this number if you come on over. Hey, I'm all for it. You could put out all the smoke screens you want. I don't give a shit. As long as he's in pinstripes by opening day, it's all that matters to me.
There you go. Do what you got to do. What you got to do. Everybody's offering you a bunch of
Exactly.
money to come over here. We're trying to make it a little more special for you. Make you feel a little more at home. Yeah.
Hey, you get to pitch behind Garrett Cole. Come on.
Brian Cashman concerned about fixing the team. Nah, let's figure out why number 18 is so important in the Japanese baseball
There you go. You hit it right
league.
on the head.
Let's find out why that's so important.
There you go. That's Cashman.
Asking the questions that everybody really wants the answers to, I guess. But yeah, both of your teams are interested in Yamamoto. Maybe even mine. I mean,
I've heard
I
the
think we've heard
Phillies.
rumors.
I don't think that they're huge on him, especially after signing Nola. But I do know that both New York teams are interested. St. Louis, as we talked about earlier, and the Dodgers are the big names that I'm hearing for this guy. And I've heard that the Mets are the most aggressive.
Mets.
That's what I mean. That's kind of what all the reports are saying. But yeah.
Should be interesting. Who knows how good he'll be when he comes over? Because that's always fun and definitely interesting to see, like what
Yes.
the adaptation is by the players. Because some of these guys, like Seiya Suzuki, was really hyped up, and he's turned out all right. But to me, it was a bit disappointing his first year in the league, the way he was hyped up coming into it. But then you see a guy like Kodai Senga, he finishes third in
Top
NL
three.
Rookie of the Year this year. And it was top 10 in strikeouts, I think, or something like that. So he was a consistent pitcher all year long. And this guy's supposed to be like the best they have to offer right now. So it's interesting concept though. Japan just being like, yeah, we're kind of like a minor league team for you. We're just going to let you sign all of our best players. I don't know if you guys ever thought about that, but that was always interesting to me that they're just like, yeah, well, I guess we don't have a choice. I guess you can just sign our best players.
And let's not forget, even I know Shohei Ohtani won Rookie of the Year in the American League, but there was question marks when he came in and he was struggling out of spring training. It was not pretty to start, but obviously made some adjustments and ended up figuring it out and won Rookie of the Year. And obviously, we know what he's doing now.
Just one last little tidbit on Yamamoto. I do know that the reports have been saying that he wants to be with other Japanese players, and I feel like that's where the media is taking it off as well, because obviously the Dodgers are linked up with Ohtani. They're probably one of the biggest names with Ohtani. I will say this though: if the Dodgers get Yamamoto and Ohtani, that's where me as a baseball fan, I might be a little pissed. But no, I think that does speak a lot of volume too. And I had
No, no.
mentioned this before we got on. I love seeing all these different free agents from different countries come in and being posted. I mean, there's 4 or 5 guys from Japan right now who are being hyped up. I think that is such a cool thing for the game of baseball. Bringing these guys over, seeing what they can do in the MLB, paired up to some of the best talents in all of the world. Um, one team that I'm a little shocked that I'm not hearing more rumors about with Yamamoto is the Boston Red Sox. They need pitching,
Hmm.
and they have Yoshida, who Yoshida and Yamamoto have a very good relationship from their days over in Japan. I it, it's very hard to really pick and predict where Yamamoto is going to sign. It's very interesting to see how this is going to all play out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I'm sure these guys. Everybody has a preference. Just because they're not saying it to the media doesn't mean that they don't. I'm sure Shohei Otani, Yamamoto. I'm sure they have like a list, and they probably have dwindled it down to like 3 or 4 teams. But just because, just because they can't, just because they're not telling the media, doesn't mean they don't know what they're doing or they don't know what they want. They know damn well what they want and where they want to go.
Yes.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how it all shakes out there and see where they all land because we don't necessarily know, and especially Shohei has been very quiet about it, and uh,
Hmm.
rumors have not been very plentiful about where he might sign. A lot of speculation and not a lot of oh he's been talking to the Yankees, oh he's been talking to the Dodgers, which is a little different, but I mean, hey, when he's the top guy. He can sort of set those rules himself. But yeah, a trade we wanted to get into rare, not a rare trade, but nice to see trade something that shakes it up a little bit. Eugenio Suarez heading down from Seattle to the D-backs to be their guy at third base now for a little bit because they've been missing that recently. Evan Longoria platooning there. Emmanuel Rivera was there as well. I know they got some prospects who they have a lot of shortstop prospects, maybe, or at least one or two, maybe shift one of those to third base in the future, but he's their guy for right now. They sent him over for a relief pitcher, I believe. I think that's right. But yeah, what do you guys got on Eugenio Suarez to the D-backs?
Didn't the Mariners learn the last time they traded with the D-backs? They didn't win that trade either. Didn't they learn? Um, it's the right move for the Diamondbacks. Obviously, you know Evan Longoria is not going to be the long-term answer. He was played well, and he looked like Tampa Bay Evan Longoria for a little bit there. The way he was playing defense throughout the postseason and getting some big knocks, but evidently you knew that he was not going to be the long-term answer. So I know they're in my division, and I know I'm supposed to not like it, but I like the Diamondbacks being aggressive. And they're proving and they're showing everybody that, sure, we stumbled, we were the final team to get in the playoffs. And I know we only won 83 games and we ended up in the World Series and we were overmatched, but it's like they're not just going to roll over and say, oh, well, it was a great season, whatever. Let's not do anything. We got a good thing right now. Diamondbacks are pushing more of their chips in front of the table and saying, we think we can get better. And this is the first big move. And I'm going to continue to keep my MLB cap on with the Diamondbacks and say I want them to get more pitching because that's what ended up killing them in the end. But good trade for the Diamondbacks. I like that they're being aggressive.
To clarify, Carlos Vargas, a relief pitcher, and Sebi Zavala, a catcher, sent in exchange for Suarez, and may have been a salary dump by the Mariners as well. He had a pretty nice size contract, and yeah, I think interesting move by the Mariners on their side of things, getting rid of a guy who's been very productive for you in the past. I mean, this is a guy who's consistently hitting like 30 home runs throughout his career, and I understand he strikes out a lot, and that's what a lot of people point to. The Mariners had a like three guys in the top 10, 15 in strikeouts for the season. Suarez, Julio was up there, and Teoscar Hernandez were all up there. But this is a guy who just this last season played every game, so you love that. First of all, a guy who's mediocre on defense. He's definitely not anything great, but mediocre. 22 home runs, 96 RBIs, hit 232, whatever that's worth for you. Only slugged 391 on the season somehow with 22 home runs, but he's only a couple seasons removed from 30. Well, he had 31 in back-to-back years before that. So he's a guy that you're going to get the power, but it's also going to come with the strikeouts and the low batting average. So interesting move by the Mariners, and yeah, I like it for the D-backs.
Yeah, I'm gonna go out here and say, what the hell are the Mariners doing? Right? I thought that this last season was going to be a step in the right direction, and yet they proved all of us wrong. The Texas Rangers took over that division. The Houston Astros are always going to be there. You needed to make that next move, right? I understand the season didn't go how you wanted to, but that's no reason to. I don't want to say blow this thing up, but you're not going in the right direction. Suarez was one of your biggest producers, and I don't know how many bats on the free agent market is going to take that production over for Suarez, because I don't think they're in on Ohtani. I don't think that they're in on
unless they're in on Matt Chapman,
and that's what I was going to bring up. Yes, I was going to bring that up because I'm not hearing much of Matt Chapman. You know, his free agency has been very quiet. And yes, he's had a down year for the Blue Jays. But at the same time, Matt Chapman is still a viable piece that you can sign. But even when you do sign him, now you're just hoping that he gives you the production that Suarez gave you and he can bounce back. But now you're still at that same level that what you were with Suarez. So what are you doing here? And this is what kind of worries me for the Mariners.
Only thing might be, I mean, Chapman's defense is better, definite, obviously, being one of the best in the league. But offensively, his numbers from this past season: hit 240, 17 homers. I mean, 54 ribbies, 330 on base percentage, a 108 OPS plus. So really not anything special on offense. But yeah, definitely a defensive upgrade at the very minimum. But sorry, Kyle.
Yeah. No, you're fine. And I do like that if they do get Chapman, whatever it is. But like I just said, you have the defending World Series champions in your division, and then you have the Houston Astros, who have been there in the middle, at the end, whoever, depending on who you ask, of their dynasty. But at the same time, like I just said, you're still at the same level. You need to make more moves. And I don't know if I see that out of the Mariners. I thought that this team was going to be so exciting, right? I thought they were going to take that next level. J-Rod came up. He was doing his thing and kind of got everybody behind him. Now I just feel like he kind of took a step back. And I need to see the rest of this offseason pan out for the Mariners to give you my actual prediction with them. But as I said, I don't like the way that they're going with this. Now, when you flip to the Diamondbacks side of things, I love this move. I cannot express that enough. Do you know how bad that I want to put down the Diamondbacks for some of these free agent predictions that we've been doing? But I just don't know if they are going to pull the trigger. I want them to. Do you know how bad I want to put freaking the big Arizona A next to Blake Snell? Or a guy like that? I mean, I want to do that so bad. I mean, this team is so fun. It is so fun. And I think one of the biggest things besides pitching that they were lacking was a good mix of veterans with young guys, right? So they have the young core. That young core is so exciting. But I feel like you still need some of that veteran leadership. And Suarez provides that. Not only is he going to give you the production that he gave you in Seattle, maybe even a little more. You never know. Change of scenery. But at the same time, having him come in now, take over third base, surrounded by some of these young guns out here doing their thing, I think it's going to
Great
work wonders.
clubhouse guy.
Yes, he is. And I think that is going to be one of the biggest positives from this trade for the Diamondbacks. His voice in that leadership in that clubhouse is going to express so much leadership. I think it's going to be such a good thing for this team, and I just want to see him do more. I really do. They're coming off the World Series appearance. Go out and get some pitching. Go out and add another bat, please. Every baseball fan wants to see that. Maybe not Melo, just because division, whatever. But like I said, I think that would be such a cool thing for this team, and I absolutely love this trade for the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Yeah, they need to replace Lourdes Gurriel out there in the outfield. He's a free agent. A lot of signs pointing to him not coming back. So if he doesn't, that's a spot you got to fill out in left field. Other than that, I think you feel all right with everywhere else now that you got Suarez at third base. But like Kyle said, get some more pitching in there. Starters would, like you said, I think I predicted Blake Snell to the Diamondbacks, but part of that was just optimism, just like, hey, they should go out and get him. But if they're in on some of these lower tier guys, like a Eduardo Rodriguez, I would have said like a Kenta Maeda, which nice little segue. We'll get into that in a minute. But some of these other B tier or C tier starters, go get them. I mean, they can fall in line behind a Zach Gallen. They can be a 3 to Merrill Kelly. You know, whoever Brandon Pfaadt falls in line now after his heroics in the postseason. So go out and add 1, maybe 2 more starters. So build off of this season. You're just in the World Series. Now's not the time to settle and be like, oh yeah, we're all right. Keep getting better. So. Kenta Maeda, I mentioned him. Interesting move, some people would say, as he signed with the Detroit Tigers. Yes, you heard me right. The Detroit Tigers, the not really contending, but sort of surprisingly finished like second.
Division.
Yes, because they're in a crappy division. He signed a 2-year, $24 million deal with the Tigers. And, all right, call me insane, but the Tigers are sort of sneaky building something. Like, they'll creep up on you on being as a not too bad team. Starts with Javier Baez. If you can keep him engaged, he needs to be on a competitive team, evidently. And we've seen what he can be like. We've also seen what we don't want what we don't want him to be like. This swinging and misses at pitches in the dirt. I mean, we've all seen the edits and the memes for all of that stuff, but yeah. So starting with Javier Baez, then you got guys like Spencer Torkelson, one of the most hyped up prospects it feels like in a long time. This guy was supposed to be a consistent power bat and didn't exactly pan out at the start of his career. Now, second half of this past season, he started to turn it on a little bit. I mean, we saw stuff we didn't see from Torkelson before, stuff that we were supposed to be seeing, though. Guy like Riley Green in the outfield. If he can stay healthy, he's an electric bat, a great guy to have out there. On the pitching end of things, you still got Casey Mize, who was a 1-1 pick and was like a number 1 prospect at one point. And he's been not too bad when he's been healthy, but he struggled with injuries too. Matt Manning, a nice pitching name there in the rotation. Tariq Skubal, another guy, funky name, kind of like it. I'm missing somebody else. Somebody else who sort of Reese Olson. That's who I was thinking of. He had a decent little second half of the year last year. So if you can build around all that, you add in Kenta Maeda. You need some more bats. Definitely, there's some holes to be filled there, but they've got a little something going on there in Detroit. I can tell you that.
And let's take a look at the rest of the NL Central, like I just said a second ago. Twins shedding payroll. They're probably not going to be that good next year. Royals. We haven't seen anything in the last couple of years that things are going to change anytime soon. It can, but who knows? You got the Guardians coming off a down year. Let's see what they do. And then you got the Tigers. I know I'm missing another team. Tigers. They're taking steps in the right direction. And Matt said it perfectly, very quietly, getting something, building something here in Detroit. And that's a good thing. I think Tigers may not realize it 100% yet, but they might be contending and they might be building towards something quicker than they know. Because
Could be.
the rest of the division is not that good. And opening day comes by, season's in, you're in the middle of May and June, and you're like maybe 5 or 6 games out of the division. And you say, hey, you know what? Maybe we're not that far away. And then you come back either next year and continue to build, or they're going to continue to build during this off season. But I like the move for Kenta Maeda. He's a number 2 or a number 3 in the rotation. So if you can get another guy for him, I think that's going to help a lot. But I like what the Tigers are doing.
Yeah, I'm just gonna kind of reiterate everything you guys just said. I think the biggest issue, if you want to say, is I need to see more out of these young guys. I really do. All of them need to take the next step. But I think the X factor on this team is Kerry Carpenter. He
Yeah.
showed he had himself one hell of a season last year. Um, he flew under the radar for a lot of people. And yes, he plays in Detroit. I get it. But Riley Green looks good, and all those youngsters that you mentioned, Matt. I think these guys need to take the next step for this Tigers team for the front office to also take that next step. The more they see out of their rookies, the more they're going to want to spend in the free agent market. Because look what happened last time they spent big in the free agent market. They have a guy who seemingly just doesn't want to play baseball anymore. That's just what it looks like. I mean, the effort that he puts on the field is not what you want to see. I mean, this is a guy who is supposed to be the leader of your team, kind of showing these young guys the ropes and producing at a pretty high level. That's what you signed him for. So yes, I understand. Maybe they're kind of scared to dip back into the free agent market on some of these big guys. But I agree with you guys. I think if they just take a few next steps to kind of push themselves a little bit more, I think they got something going on in Detroit.
Kerry Carpenter, sneaky 20 home runs last year.
That's what I'm saying. Yep.
Yeah.
He flew under the
Yeah, I
radar.
can't believe I forgot to mention him. Question, could you bring back Eduardo Rodriguez, the Tigers? He was solid for you last year. I mean, he liked Detroit enough that he didn't want to go to stinky LA at the trade deadline. Melo still hates him for that, but
I I think if you can get him for cheaper than what you had his last contract, he didn't
that's
show
fair.
enough to he didn't show enough to get another contract like that. Which it's kind of crazy to me that he opted out. But anyway, I don't want to say that the relationship's ruined because I've never heard of any reports that said it was. I mean, obviously he denied the trade going to LA. I mean I think that's a huge factor in it. But I don't I don't know. Me personally, if I was the Tigers front office, I would not. I would just kind of roll with Maeda, maybe bring in a few other guys to kind of round out the rotation, and then stick my young guys in there. See what I can get out of them. That's the way I look at it.
Okay.
Yeah, let somebody else overpay for Eduardo Rodriguez and live with the mistake.
That's fair.
Dodgers don't do it.
Um, yeah, he wouldn't sign with him. Anyway,
No, we don't want him.
need some more mid to lower level starters, and yeah, let some of the let some of the younger guys see what they got. Start them out healthy at the season, as long as they're healthy to start the season, and then you can figure out if they're part of your plan going forward or not. And then do whatever you got to do. Detroit's shown that they're willing to spend money, even when they're bad. I mean, they've done it with Eduardo Rodriguez and with Javier Baez, like we just said. So, and even in the past, I mean, obviously Miguel Cabrera, Prince Fielder, JD Martin, well, not those guys, some of they traded for Justin Verlander, Scherzer. They've had the guys and have spent money for some of them as well. They're a team that's historically not afraid to spend money. So go out there, get some guys. Don't overspend for guys again, which you may have done with the last two people you offered big contracts to. But make the right choice this time, and yeah, I mean, the Tigers could be in contention a couple years down the road. Just saying. Yeah, that's pretty much all the moves. I don't think I missed any, right?
I don't think so.
Jason Hayward, slam dunk. Welcome back.
That's right. That's
I love it.
How could we forget?
How could I forget? Jason Hayward,
I love it.
1 year deal. What was it, like $8 million?
Something like that. But I like it because he is a good veteran, and I saw a lot of the younger players. You know how MLB on Instagram comes out with, oh, he signed with whoever. A lot of the young guys like Bobby Miller, James Outman, they were reposting that, and they were very happy to see that they brought him back. So to me, that's very comforting. That, you know what, he's clearly a good clubhouse presence for these young guys. He's teaching them the things. The thing that worries me is that, you know, after playing bad with Chicago towards the end there, he had a bounce back season last year. He hit 269 with 15 home runs after he only hit like 2 with the Cubs in 2022. So, and he took on a pretty big role last year because most of the nights, especially in the second half of the season, Mookie Betts was playing second base and Jason Hayward was your everyday right fielder. I don't know how I feel about a 34-year-old Jason Hayward being my everyday right fielder. In the previous year, when he hit 15 home runs and batted almost 270, I don't think you're going to get that every single year, but I can live with it for 1 year. I know this is not the only move the Dodgers are going to make, but Jason Hayward is a good clubhouse guy, and I like it for 1 year.
Yeah, good glue guy, and if you can get contributions from him similar to last year or even a little bit less,
It's a plus.
Seems like a good deal. Yeah.
Yeah, I also want to add in on this is I think he thrives on the consistency. I think giving him the everyday at bats that what the Dodgers did last year, I think he thrived. And you might be a little shaky penciling him in as the right fielder, especially if Mookie is at a place where, I mean, Gavin Lux. If Gavin Lux comes back, does his thing, I mean, you got to play Mookie. There's no doubt about that. So, yes, there might not be that everyday consistency for Hayward, and that's just what worries me a little bit, is if he is finding himself on the bench a little bit more than what he was last year, he might be a little cold. He might get in those cold streaks. But I also like this move. Melo, you hit it 100% with that. I think he's a great clubhouse guy. He's obviously a very, very respected veteran around all of baseball. Hey, I'm even going to throw in my Yankee thing right here. Volpe wanted Hayward. He wanted the Yankees to sign Hayward. So you know what? If my shortstop can get behind Jason Hayward, you're damn right I'm going to as well. So I'm happy for the Dodgers. I'm happy for Jason Hayward. Yeah, I think it was the right move for both parties. And yeah, I mean, I always like seeing these veterans succeed in some of these places that they go to, and I loved watching him last year. I think he was a really good fit for the Dodgers.
And he quickly became a fan favorite too.
Yes.
Now listen, Dodger fans are not showing up to Dodger Stadium with 22 Hayward or whatever number he wore last year. We're not showing up with jerseys with Jason
Not
Hayward on the back.
22. Come on now.
I know. I was thinking of Cubs, but fans are not showing up with Jason Hayward Dodger jerseys, but he would get a pretty good ovation every time he'd step into the box. And especially last year when he started to prove himself, you can trust him out there in right field a little bit. So I like it. And the fans, he'll get a nice ovation when we all go to Dodger Stadium again and lie to ourselves again.
Yeah. I mean, he's a pretty likable guy across MLB in general. So, yeah, I feel good about that. Bringing back a veteran is always, as long as they're still capable yet and contributing, and you get him at a decent price. Yeah, I feel good about that always. So now I think we got it all right. I don't think we missed any of the big signings or anything. Yeah, okay. So hopefully we'll have some more. I wished for it last week. Hopefully we'll have more to talk about, and it happened. So I'll say it again. Hopefully we have more to talk about next week when we come back on. Shohei, maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. We're just hoping for it.
We need
maybe
something.
A trade. Corbin Burns. Cook up some Corbin Burns rumors. Cook up some Shane Bieber, Tyler Glasnow rumors. Let's hear some more of that. Juan Soto rumors even. I heard today that it's not a matter of if he gets traded. It's a matter of what team.
It's not a matter of what team. It's right here, man. Come on.
Oh.
Let's just say there's some Phillies fans that are dreaming of this for Juan Soto. I'm just saying.
Get out of here.
I don't know. I don't know about that, but no. But I think that's going to do it for this episode. Appreciate you guys, everybody watching, listening, tuning in. And we'll see you again next Monday. See ya.
Adios.